Today I'm sitting here with Doug Tayrien, who recently transitioned his title to Principal Emeritus here at SGA Design Group. Hi Doug, thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Tori. I'm glad to be here.
Yes. So tell me, what brought you to SGA Design Group?
Well, back around 2000, I was working for a high-end design firm and doing a lot of really neat projects in the Tulsa area, but I was starting to get these indications that maybe the economy was not quite as great as I'd thought. So I decided that maybe I would start looking around, and one of the firms that I was really interested in was Taylor Scott Architects, which is a former name of SGA. I knew Dale Scott, I knew Sandy Bourgeois, and I knew Chris Goebel, all from work at another firm. I knew Chris to be a really straightforward, upstanding guy, and I thought, well, if this is a good firm for Chris, this might be a good firm for me. And so I came here, interviewed, and fortunately, I got a job, and I've been here for 24 years since then.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, pretty much.
And why did you choose to study architecture?
As a child, I was constantly building things. I just kind of had that bug in me. I was putting models together, rockets and airplanes, and I was building forts and digging holes and just always constructing and building. I remember I would draw rocket ships and submarines and all this sort of thing, and I ended up taking some drafting classes, and honestly a lot of the kind of advanced placement stuff I did in English and mathematics and stuff like that was all kind of leading towards architecture, so it was just a natural progression.
And what do you think has been the most important thing that you've learned from your employees?
Everybody has their own unique skill sets. They have their own knowledge, they have their own skills that they excel at. And for me, I tap into those. And so I really count on those folks to really help me to do my job better. And I recognize that, you know, we're really good at hiring really bright, intelligent people. My whole goal throughout my career is always hire people smarter than me because it makes my life easier. And it also teaches me so I'm a lot stronger. I listen to my employees because they've got knowledge that I don't have, and I greatly appreciate that.
And what do you hope that you have taught your employees that they'll always remember?
I've always tried to emphasize that job satisfaction comes from doing something exceedingly well, working hard at it, and doing that level that is above and beyond what others might expect. That's one thing I've always tried to show through my own actions, that level of quality and care, and trying to coach others to do the same.
And what do you love most about architecture?
Well, for me, I think that I have this ability to take nothing and create something from it. You know, it's just really exciting for me to look at how, with drawings and a team of people, we can all come together and we can create a building. It's exciting to watch that building going up. It's exciting to go into the building when it's all done. And sometimes I think about it and it's like, wow, you know, with 40 years of work behind me, every day, tens of thousands of people live in, work in, shop in buildings that I've created all over the United States. And it's kind of an awesome feeling. I think the other thing about architecture is that it's a very dynamic profession. Things are constantly changing, and I learn something new absolutely every day. And that's really what kind of keeps my brain working, and is that kind of challenge.
Mm-hmm. That's great. What are some of the changes that you've seen in the past 24 years with SGA and with architecture as a whole?
We certainly have seen changes in like technology, right? I think one of the big ones is just our ability to communicate. When I first started out here, you know, we were still using fax machines for some of our stuff, which is just kind of crazy to think about. But since then, I mean, you know, we're now communicating not just by email, but by messaging, by text, by Teams and Zoom and all these other technologies that just makes our communication much more viable and easier to use. On top of that, obviously, you know, things like our CAD programs have improved over time, and we've now gone into 3D modeling with BIM. We now, certainly SGA has developed a company for 3D laser scanning, which I think is a big game changer within our industry for retrofit and remodel work. Overall, just kind of the speed and ability to get things done more accurately definitely has changed over the years as part of that. So the other piece of that too is really just the constructability of buildings and how we're building them. They were much simpler 24 years ago. Our requirements for making energy codes and waterproofing and the new materials that are out there have all added a new level of construction challenges and frankly making much better buildings than we were back then.
Absolutely. And tell us a little bit about your internship program these past few summers and what you've been doing to help those students along.
Yeah, so kind of one of my passions has been in teaching and training over the years. It's just something I really enjoy doing. I like working with young interns to try and hopefully share some of the knowledge I have on construction and that sort of thing. So our summer interns are coming in. Usually many of them are third, fourth, fifth year of school. And as part of just their general work for the summer, we've been doing some training on just basic building materials, how the materials go together, why the materials are where they are, why we need them, that sort of thing, how to waterproof. And so we've been going through a lot of these materials, and we're doing presentations on, say, just walking through a building wall section. How all those materials go together and the who's, the what's, and the whys of that. At the end of the summer, then, we've been doing a little construction exercise where we're fabricating some stuff out of light gauge metal studs to build some shapes and get some kind of hands-on experience of kind of what goes on out in the field. And students seem to really enjoy that and think that's a lot of fun. And we end up with some kind of cool little projects out of that.
Yeah, hopefully. And speaking of, SGA has grown a lot in the past few years. What do you think appeals as SGA to a firm, and why would somebody want to come and work here?
One of the things that certainly drew me to SGA and has kept me here over the years is just the level of integrity that this firm exudes. I have worked for some other firms where maybe that wasn't quite their top goal. I think that with SGA, integrity and our ability to service our clients, treat our employees with respect and knowledge and appreciate everything that they do, I think it's all part of that whole thing that's kind of the culture driven into SGA on a daily basis. I think that as a company, we always worry about transition over time. You know, me stepping down as a principal, I don't have those leadership responsibilities anymore, and certainly there'll be more in the future. When we look at the transition plan for this company, it shows that there is a plan for kind of the next generation to move in and move up into new levels within the company. And you know, for those that are showing the desire, the interest, and the abilities, there is a career path for them coming up through the company. There's also a plan in place to make sure that SGA continues to be SGA.
And what do you think has been your greatest accomplishment throughout your whole career?
I think one of the things that I'm very proud of was kind of early on in my career, around 1984-85, the company I was working for landed the Walmart account. Walmart at that time was trying to grow, but it was taking them over a month just to get some construction documents. They were all hand-drawn, quality was poor. We had promised them that we could get that work done quicker and more efficiently, and we were going to use CAD to do that. CAD at that time was very rare. Most firms didn't use CAD or even really know what it was at that time. And I took a bunch of hand drawings and I pinned them up down a long wall, and I sat there for a week studying them, trying to figure out what were the changes between the projects and how could I best manipulate that information. And it all boiled down to put all the different changes into the drawings, and then being able to use layering standards and some other things, be able to throw all the stuff you didn't need for a specific project. It seems very obvious now. It seems like something that everybody in the world is doing, but at that time, I think it was fairly unique in its concept. And with that ability, then we were able to take what was taking a month for them to produce. We were able to produce architectural drawings in a day, all because of the way this process works, and with far, far, far more accuracy and consistency in the project.
Well, thank you so much, Doug. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks, enjoyed it.
Yes. Do you have any other final thoughts on this?
I had a scoutmaster back when I was a boy that always told us, always leave your campsite better than you found it. And to me, that has been kind of my going mantra throughout my career, is always try and improve something, always leave it better than what you took it over. I hope I've done that with SGA and my efforts. I hope that I have provided a level of quality and that there's been a benefit to this company such that it's a little better than when I came in.